is a hot mess. Hot Mess Express. Okay. Look. Hi friends, my name is Mackenzie, also known as Emtothethird. This is my familiar moose who likes to come hang out while I'm recording. Yeah, I just cleared this entire table off so that she could hang out with me because otherwise I was holding her and it was very distracting. So, I'm coming to you from Portland, Oregon, where it's starting to feel like fall. The weather is almost caught up to that feeling. Tomorrow I think we're supposed to have some rain, and it's definitely looking like fall. Like the trees are getting crispy. I hope it's not too distracting with this cat being a cat. I have been consuming pumpkin cream cold brews, like the basic bee that I am, and yeah, and I've been knitting. So I run a small business called Emtothethird Yarn Co., where I naturally dye yarn on custom bases. I draw illustrations and print them on a number of different products, and I run a monthly sticker club. You can find all my products on emtothethirdyarn.com, which is a great way to support me. But if you would like to support me and don't want to buy anything, you can also send me a tip via Ko-Fi. You can buy me a coffee, just send like $3. You can do recurring monthly payments. But if you watch this and enjoy it, it's just a great way to basically make it more sustainable for creators like me to create content for you. So if you would like to do that, the link is here. Buy me a coffee is never an obligation, but always very appreciated. So thank you for watching. Last month I did a giveaway because the podcast turned 3. I kind of can't believe it myself, but it was very exciting. So basically I asked folks to enter by leaving a comment talking about what they liked about the podcast, and truly the responses brought me joy all month long because they kept kind of coming in, and I just thank you so much for taking the time to do that. It meant a lot to me. It helps also the video just get some more views, and I saw new viewers on there, so just really appreciate it. Thank you for leaving a comment. And I already picked the winner of the little giveaway prize, which is this bag that I made along with a skein of yarn and a bunch of stickers from the sticker club. And the winner is Celeste. So congratulations, Celeste. Celeste is one of our Slack members as well as a viewer of the podcast. So I'm really excited to get this shipped out to you. I'll send you a DM just to make sure that I have your address. And thank you everyone so much for participating. There's also a Slack group for the Emtothethird Knitting Podcast. The link to sign up is down below. Usually we host 2 to 3 times a month virtual knit nights, which are super fun. And we also just have a bunch of Slack groups where we chat back and forth. Next month for October, we're going to be watching a scary movie together via Netflix. We're going to be watching Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is a comfort favorite of mine. So we're going to be doing that. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, you can go ahead and sign up via the link down below. And yeah, we'd love to have you. Whether you want to share works in progress, get help on a project, or just share your Wordle score, it's a really great group of people, and I think you'll have fun joining us. Moose. Yeah. Usually I don't talk too much about what's going on in life. If you're in the Slack group, if you're following me on Instagram, I do talk a little bit more about just my day-to-day stuff, but I stick pretty much to knitting on YouTube unless it's Vlogmas. But this feels, I debated sharing but I had a really hard time finding stories that related to mine, and so I thought that if I shared what's going on with me, that maybe someone in the knitting community will watch it and find comfort in it. So since the last podcast episode, I had a doctor's appointment and found out that I have diabetes. And there was a lot of mixed emotions getting that diagnosis. I do have a little bit of a family history with diabetes, and I also have previously been diagnosed with PCOS, which is a hormone thing, and insulin is a hormone. I'm not a doctor, so I only kind of understand everything. But folks with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, which actually doesn't mean you have ovarian cysts, but has to do with more testosterone, which makes getting pregnant a little bit more difficult, gives irregular periods, and can pave the way for diabetes. So I've had that I've had that diagnosis for a few years, and so I went for a pretty routine checkup. I always have my blood checked because there's also a history of thyroid disease in my family, and we found that my blood sugar levels were really high, and so I got my diagnosis. So yeah, it's been a month of kind of figuring out, I don't know, I don't want to say how to eat because I don't feel like that's accurate, but just bringing consciousness to eating in a way that I have not. In the past, I have suffered from eating disorders, and I think I've worked on it in therapy, and there's just a lot that I deal with regularly about food, and it's really hard to find information and sort of learn about diabetes without seeing a lot of weight stigma and dieting stuff, and so it's been pretty hard. I think that it's also very whitewashed and culturally insensitive, a lot of the way that diabetes diets are talked about, but one of the really helpful resources that I found was actually here on YouTube, and that is the channel The Hangry Woman. She is a Black woman who has diabetes and just is fat positive, and just made it feel like I could navigate it. It's very overwhelming. I'm on new medications, some of which made me feel pretty sick. Getting used to them, now I'm feeling much better, and yeah, so it's just been a lot of adjustments. I have, during the pandemic, I think I got very burnt out on cooking, and so I've had to really re-up my interest in cooking, but also changing the way that I'm cooking a little bit. It's a lot of ways that I have eaten before or want to eat. I think that I am in a really good position to make the changes because I know how to cook. I've gone through various points in my life where I've cut things out in healthy and unhealthy ways. But it's just been a lot to kind of handle. I've definitely felt my mood changing in a good way in that case. But yeah, it's just been a lot, and like incorporating more intentional exercise. Like usually I walk the dog every night, but it's like, it's one of those things where I was like, well, I walk the dog every night, and then I timed it, and what I thought was a 30-minute walk was more like an 18-minute walk. So adding like those 12 minutes in and kind of having it to be more rigorous, and you know, because there's a lot of things that happen to your body if you have diabetes, and also when you have it, you can go back into pre-diabetic status with diet changes and exercise and stuff. So that's the goal, because when you have the high blood sugar levels, you have like a much higher risk of heart disease and heart attacks. It's really wreaks havoc on your like oral health, and on your like foot health, and your eyes. So all of those things are obviously, it's like a thing that is in my power to prevent like escalating. So yeah, I also want to say that if you are going to leave a comment in relation to this, as long, like, just be mindful, please. I don't necessarily want like any, oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear it. You know, I've kind of like had that like moment and passed through it, and I don't really need like, I'm not doing this for sympathy. I'm doing it just to kind of share what's been going on, but also, like I said, to bring comfort if someone else is going through this or has gone through it, because it felt really scary. And there's so much like shitty information out there, and diabetes has such a stigma. Like, as a fat woman, it feels like, it felt a lot like, well, what did you expect when I got the diagnosis? Like, no one acted like that towards me, but I know that that's kind of the way that weight stigma works. And so, yeah, I just, that's why I'm sharing all of this, is just to hopefully kind of like show you what someone with type 2 diabetes looks like, and, you know, just kind of work, just do my part in kind of just sharing my story, because I really don't feel like people are open with that diagnosis for good reason, and I thought about not sharing it, but ultimately I felt like that was the best decision, to share what was going on. So yeah, that has been going on. Maybe Moose is hanging out with me because she knew I needed some support. On top of just all the changes that came with that, Kay also got a job. A couple weeks ago they started, and that has been another really big adjustment. I mean, Kay and I have been working at home together and working, you know, having very flexible schedules for almost 3 years now because of COVID. And so it's a little bizarre to have them be gone from 9 to 5 every day, and technically more like 8 to 6 because they're taking the bus. Yeah, I mean, it's a great job. It is exactly what they were looking for. They're making pretty good money, and there's a lot of benefits. So like, I'm like just so thrilled for them. That's plastic. Stop. That's plastic. Stop. So it's really all like, that's a great thing. I'm really happy for them, but I have definitely am like feeling a little bit like a house spouse, and you know, kind of taking on the grocery shopping, and usually I do all the cooking, but I'm definitely just like feeling like I'm doing. Moose, stop, leave it alone. But, you know, I'm feeling like I'm just like kind of moving the laundry along, doing a lot of errands, and I'm being very independent at the moment, which is not new to me, but it's new in the sense that like for the last 3 years we've just like been available to do stuff like that together. So yeah. So yeah, all of these things are just like huge changes that are happening right now. So I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things. Yeah. So the last episode I mentioned that I was going to be at the Natural Fiber Fest in Humboldt, and just with everything going on, it was the best thing for me to not go. I also had some family stuff going on that was like preoccupying my attention a little bit. So yeah, I decided not to go to that. And then the following weekend was Camp Starlight, and it did give me some extra time to prepare for the classes I was teaching. I taught a steeking class, and I also taught a basically nature-inspired color work class, both of which were a ton of fun. All the camp attendees were just like the best. We had such a good time. The weather was beautiful. The food was great. I just had like, yeah, I had the best time. So if you would like more info about that for the future, you can head to starlightknittingsociety.com under Camp Starlight, or just sign up for their newsletter. If you're local-ish to the Pacific Northwest, we did have some people driving up from California, down from Washington. It was just like so much fun. And the other thing I really liked about it is that you can rent a yurt that's a little bit pricier, but it has a heater at night, or you can really just bring a tent. So there's like different price points and experiences that you can choose to have. So yeah, I had a blast. I'm hoping that I'll be invited back next year because it was so fun. And yeah, so knit camp, who knew? This is mine. It's not for kitties. So I usually don't talk about books a lot. I'm a pretty avid reader. I do have a master's in library and information science, which basically means that you're a reader. I've worked as a librarian, and I just read this series of books. I'm on the third of 3. And I wanted to share them with you because they inspired this month's sticker club illustration and has just been inspiring me lately. So one of the days when my starting the medication was really making me feel bad, I was basically curled up on the couch with like some GI pain. And I was like, all I want is to read just a cozy book, cozy mystery, about that's fall inspired. So I literally just Googled autumn cozy mystery. Cozy mystery is one of my favorite series or genres of book. And so that's what I did. And this book series came up that was called the Shady Hollow series. It's by Juno Black, which is actually a pseudonym for a duo of lady writers. And the series are basically a little woodland, basically a bunch of woodland creatures who live in this cute, quaint little town, and a murder happens, and then they solve the crime. The main character is a fox who is a reporter, and her best friend is a raven who owns a bookstore, and she's dating a bear who is a police constable. It's so charming. I also laughed because in the intro to the book they were just suspend your disbelief. They were don't worry about the logistics, don't worry about the size differences of the animals, just enjoy and read and just suspend your disbelief, which I thought was very charming and cute. So I did, and oh my god, I read the first book in 2 days, and then I just finished the second one, and I'm maybe a quarter of the way through the third. And I was just I don't know, it's just so charming. There's little turns of phrase that I was just so cute. So one of the characters needed a handkerchief, but they called it a paw kerchief because they all have paws. It's so cute. So I've just been like thoroughly enjoying those books, and I was like, the first person I thought of was Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel. I was like, oh, little woodland anthropomorphic characters, so cute. So that like really, I don't know, it's just been like, I don't know why it like struck a chord with me right now, but it inspired me to watch The Fantastic Mr. Fox. And sort of unrelated, but just like the general vibe, I've also been listening to a lot of Fleet Foxes, in particular Helplessness Blues, that album. And there is a claymation music video. I think that's sort of how I linked the two, even though it's funny that they both have Fox in their name, but anyway. So yeah, that's kind of been just like exciting me. And then Kay and I also went out to the Burbs for a date. Look, I was craving P.F. Chang's lettuce wraps. If you know, you know. They're really good. And I was like, let's go to the Burbs. And I was like, and you know what is in... Where there is a P.F. Chang's, there is for sure gonna be a Barnes & Noble. And there is, and it was like the bougiest Barnes & Noble that I've ever been to. So I got just like a little stack of books. Honestly, I should have Kay wrap them and give them to me for my birthday, but I'm too impatient for that. But relevant to this is this book that I picked up called Wildwood. So it is a local Portland author, and it takes place in Portland, and it's very like similar vibe. Like the second I saw it, I was like, yeah. Just like the illustration. So I think it's like a husband and wife duo. One of them wrote the book, and then one of them drew the illustrations. And there's illustrations in the book as well. So that, I'm very excited to start reading this. I'm trying to finish that book first, the Shady Hollow ones, but I have this. And I also, look, I don't know if I'm ever gonna whittle, but I saw this and I was just like, I want that. And Kay was like, why? And I was like, I don't, why are you asking me this? Woodland whittling. So, I mean, just even like the end pages are gorgeous. And some of my favorite things, okay, let me hold please. Look at these little like garden stakes for when you plant seeds. Are you kidding me? A plant label. So stinking cute. Just like spoons. I just thought it was so charming. There's like animals. Look at this little pig. Porker the pig. Do I need a whittled pig? No. Am I gonna make a whittled pig? I don't know. But I was just so charmed by it that I also picked that up. So yeah, so that's all to say that has been very inspiring to me lately. So in addition to all of that inspiration, I've also been watching some like horror movies. I'm going to talk about that in the sock section. You'll understand why. And The Witch, which is an amazing horror movie, has a rabbit in it that's very haunting. And I was like, I want to draw a rabbit, but then I was like, no, I want to draw a jackalope. So I did, and then I was like, I'm gonna make it into like a little character knitting. So that's what this month's sticker club is. This little guy. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, it's definitely different from my previous illustrations, but this is where I'm at. You see, we have matching sweaters on. And yeah, so if you're in the sticker club, you'll be getting one of these. And I think I might, I don't know if this is the start of a series, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just really happy with how this guy turned out, and I hope you are too. And I also wanted to mention that last month's sticker club I included this little zine that I wrote. I did a linoleum cut print for the cover, and then drew this little silhouette sticker. The zine is really just about slowing, like, some thoughts I've had about, like, actually living a slow life and what that means and why it feels like I can't accomplish it all the time. And yeah, so it was kind of a nice, just, I hope that all the recipients of it enjoyed it, just some musings that I've been having. And they definitely informed the classes that I taught at Camp Starlight too. So yeah, I don't know. There's just like so much going on right now in life, in my life, and I'm feeling kind of a shift. And, you know, I think that all of these like endeavors are just kind of signifying that shift, even though if I don't necessarily 100% know what it's gonna look like. So yeah, thanks for listening to me talk about not knitting for this time. And yeah, so I am hosting a year-long Sock Stash Knit Along, wherein my personal goal is to knit a pair of socks every month from my stash. And to be honest, I have added some yarn to my stash, but I've also like moved along some yarn. So I did drop some skeins off at the Ritual Dyes Fiber Library recently. So they have like a little, like, you know, like a little free library that's like specifically for fiber goods. And the way that I've been doing the stash along is that I wrapped up the skeins and then I would just randomly pick one every month and then knit that one. But the last couple skeins that I unwrapped, I was like, I don't want to knit them. Just like the colors weren't what I wanted, the yarn wasn't what I wanted, and I just, you know, sometimes I put pressure on myself to knit it if it's in my stash, but sometimes it's important to recognize when something has served its purpose and to move it on. So I think I dropped off about 4 skeins at the Ritual Dyes Fiber Library and felt really good about that, just to like leave them. So yeah, I have added some yarn. So yeah, I have added some yarn to my stash, and the next pair that I am knitting are all scraps. So yeah, but before I show you that whip, I want to show you my finished socks. So these are from Pom Pom. I think they turned out really cool. Reverie. Hi. Let's do this. Okay. Look, I don't know. So they have these like cute little baubles up top. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Come on, I believe in you. Has these like colorwork motifs, and I used Kelborn Woolen's Perennial for this like dark magenta. It is a merino, nylon, and alpaca base. I don't know how it'll hold up in socks, but I really wanted to try it. I was very intrigued by that, and I figured because it wasn't like the entire sock, it would be a good option. And then this is Blue Fiber Company, a custom colorway for the shop I work at, Starlight, called Lunar Bloom. So I thought they would work really well together. I'm really happy with how they turned out. In hindsight, maybe it would have been better if I'd used one of the skeins that had a little bit more variation, but I really like how they turned out. So yeah, I'm done with that. That's my August pair. I'm now working on my September pair, so I'm a little behind, but that's okay. So I decided, no, that's not gonna work, okay. don't know why it was working before and not now. There we go. Sorry. Oh boy. Got a lot to say. What do you want? So I decided that because I'm like a little bit behind, I mean like a little bit, I am currently knitting September's sock and it is still September, so I'm really not that far behind. But I thought it would be fun to do a Socktober vlog where I am catching up on my sock knitting and also watching a ton of horror movies. So this is something that Kay and I basically like got really into during the pandemic. Like we started watching a lot of horror movies. I mean, I don't know how to explain this. I think that Moose. I think that we just doubled down on our interest in horror movies during the pandemic. It was a funny thing where it was kind of like things are so bad right now that horror movies, like how much worse could it get? And it was like, oh, it could be worse. Like there could be like zombies coming after us. So that's kind of like we've watched them before, but our just interest like boosted and we just got nerdy about it. And of course, as spooky season encroaches, we got really into horror movies, and there have been some excellent releases. We've like gone and done double features at the movie theater. Like it's just a really fun thing that we're like geeking out about together. So that's what I thought I'd do, is like kind of take you on my sock knitting journey for Socktober and then also show you the horror movies that we're watching. Yeah, so I already started it, even though it's not quite October yet, just because I was like, well, I'm already like going. So that'll probably come out the last week of October is what I'm thinking, just so that you can watch it like while you're getting ready for Halloween. Or maybe just whenever I finish the second pair of socks. That's probably more accurate. So yeah, I hope that you're excited for that. I hope it's something that you will enjoy. And if you have any horror movie recommendations, definitely leave a comment down below. We're always looking for more to watch. Yeah, what's your favorite horror movie? Or do you hate horror movies? And can I convince you to at least watch like one this season? Yeah, please leave a comment about your favorite horror movie. I would love to hear it. So I also want to show you my whip for my September sock. So I've got it in this project bag from Amy Beth. She's coming up a lot in this episode. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? So we did a little trade and she gave me one of her lovely project bags with the mushroom butts. I like it a lot. It's perfect for fall. And I am doing, like I said, a scrap sock. So this is, oh shit, I lost a bunch of stitches. Of course I did. Okay, hold. I've been doing childcare for my cousin, and so usually I'll be knitting, and then if the baby needs something, I'd like throw it down on the ground. Okay, that's not quite right, but it's fine. So this is my little scrap sock that I've started. This main, I'm like really just like incorporating things as I want. So my main color is this Playful Day yak sock. I think it's just undyed. And then I've got this from a pair of socks that I made and showed you last month. It's Urso Yarn Co. It's just like, it's like literally my skin tone. And then I also have this other like perennial mini that's like this amazing, it's blowing out a little bit, but it's this amazing like neon coral. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to make it too tall It's gonna be kind of like ankle-y more. I mean, it's long, like a crew sock, but yeah, so those are fun, and I'm going to mismatch them on purpose, so that'll be kind of a fun, that's been a fun project just to do. I also ordered some 20-sided dye so that I can do a TikTok series about having the, like, rolling the dye to pick the color and number of rows for another pair of socks. That might happen in January, maybe December, we'll see. But I'm excited about that. Are you falling asleep? Okay. Okay, so I have one FO, which you probably already noticed. It's my Stockbridge cardigan. So I'll include a couple TikToks that I've taken of the sweater, but I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about it. So this is a long-standing whip for me. This has been on hold for a while. I think, like, I was documenting it. I'll go find some of the vlogs where I was talking about it. It's an Isolde Teague pattern. I use Quince & Co. Honey, Quince & Co. Finch in the color Honey, which, again, this is like Amy Beth talks about this color all the time. Hi, Amy Beth. I feel like we're really in sync today. And so I had knit like the entire body, and I went to knit the sleeves like a year ago, and it's fingering weight, like it takes a while, it's knit flat, and I picked up all the stitches for the sleeve. It's like a little short row cap sleeve, and I had so many extra stitches after I had done the short row shaping, and I was so frustrated. I even took this little clip of me trying to describe what was going on. Forgive like all my flyaways and just my general appearance. I'm like chilling on the couch working on some knitting, and I decided to pull out a whip that I'm sure I'm now talking about in the full podcast episode. But before I undo the sleeve, so this, longtime viewers will know I've been working on this. It is the Stockbridge cardigan by Isolde. The most recent thing that happened when I worked on it, which recent, it was like over a year ago, okay? But I had like basically finished everything, and I need to do the neckband, like binding, the button band, and the sleeves. And so I followed the pattern for how many stitches to pick up on the sleeves, and I was like, this is effing huge. Like, it's just gonna be way too big. So before I like undo it and pull it out, I just want to like show you how, like, I really feel like it's gonna fit perfectly, but this sleeve is crazy. Okay, so God, it doesn't look like look at all of this like extra fabric. Do you see this? Like all of that. My arm is like here. That's got to be like 8 inches because it's like doubled of extra stitches. And I like asked folks in the Slack group about this, and they also, I don't know, had weird things with the sleeves. So my plan at this point is to go down like, I can't tell if I'm going to still follow the pattern or if I'm just going to pick up like, maybe try 3 for every 4 stitches. Pick up like 75% around. I have to count how many stitches this is. But it felt fucking insane, and it looks fucking insane. That's too much sleeve. It's so much effing sleeve. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to like document this. But like, this sweater is gonna be so good, but like, what is this? What's happening? Why is it so much? And like, maybe this would be great for someone with big biceps, but I don't think that that's too much. it's too much. Okay. Onward and upward. So I decided to pull it back out because I knew it was like almost done, and I knew that it was going to be like a fall wardrobe staple, and trust me, it has been. And so I pulled it out a few weeks ago, and I was like, it was after the last podcast episode, and I was like, I just got to rip the sleeve. So I ripped the sleeve out, wound it all into a ball. And the other thing was I was really worried that I was going to run out of yarn. And so I was like, this is just like a disaster waiting to happen, okay? So I pick up all the stitches, and it's like a lot of stitches that you have to pick up. And I got the right amount, and I look at the instructions and I reread them. And so what happens is, as you're doing the cap shaping, you are knitting two together and decreasing stitches every time you do a turn for the short rows. And I thought that I knew better than the pattern. So I was like, I'm just gonna do German short rows. Well, you can't do German short rows if you need to decrease every time you turn. So I had like 60 or 80 extra stitches on my needles, which is why the sleeve was so damn big. So I was like, oh, oops, and knit the sleeve. And so I blocked it so you can't really tell, but I had used up so much yarn just knitting to about here that, and I unwound it, and I didn't like steam it or anything, so it was like ramen yarn, and it, up until about here, I could tell, like, that's how much yarn I had used. Like, I had so many extra stitches up here that I had used so much yarn that it lasted until I was like basically at the cuff, if that makes sense. Like, just to exemplify how bad of a job I had done and how many extra stitches I had. So once I figured that out, I was like, hell yeah, finish one sleeve, finish the next sleeve, did tubular bind off for everything. But, and look, I'm gonna tell you a secret, but you can't tell anyone. It's a secret. Moose is like, what are you doing? When I bought this yarn, I was still in Boston, and I had 2 skeins of it. And I knew I needed about 10 skeins, and so I was like, I'm gonna take a risk, and I'm just gonna buy 8. And so I bought the 8, and I was like, and I'll check the dye lots. They were different dye lots, and they were also pretty different in color. But I was like, it'll be fine. Like, it'll be fine. So I ran out about, well, I didn't run out, but I noticed I was getting low, and I was pretty sure that with the skein I had, I would not have enough to do. So I started striping it and doing a helical knitting about here. You can kind of tell in this bright light that I did it, but it's, you know, unless you're looking for it. And then I also had to use the other colorway on the button bands. So, like, you know, it's like me pointing it out. I don't know. I can't totally tell. But, so the button bands and the neckline all have that other dye lot. And then I did tubular bind off for all of it. And I'm just, like, so happy with how this turned out. Isolde's patterns are just, the shaping is beautiful, the finishing is beautiful, and I'm so happy with it. I think it fits great, and to be honest, I could knit one in like every color. This is just like, to me, the perfect cardigan. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. I've been very into copper buttons lately, and so I found these ones that are wood grain. You see that? And kind of like brassy copper, so I use those, but I also bought a bunch of other really awesome buttons from this Etsy store. So yeah, I'm just really happy with how it turned out, and I've already been wearing it a ton. It's the perfect color, and yeah, a win. And I'm just happy that I picked up a long-standing whip and finished it. I definitely, as I was kind of looking through my whips, realized that I have quite a few. A lot of them are sweaters that I've gotten to a point where I need to rip back and like fix something or change the way I was knitting something. And I'm just realizing how discouraging that feels. And so, yeah, I'll get to, I know myself, I will either get to them eventually or frog them at some point. We'll see what happens, you know. So yeah, I just want to talk about one more whip, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. I host Knit Night at Starlight Knitting Society in Portland every Wednesday night with my coworker Tim. Hi Tim. I do not think he watches this. But so we host it and it's really fun. There's like always a good number of people there. And so we were hosting one night and one of our regulars was knitting this sock and I was just like, tell me what yarn that is. It was just like the perfect combination of colors. It was a self-striping German kind of like hardy sock yarn. And I'll show you the skein, although I don't think it'll do it. I don't think it'll do it justice. And so I took a photograph of the tag and got myself and one of my other regular knit nighters a skein of it. And I ordered from Webs, and it's one of those things where, you know, you're like, okay, well, I'm ordering from Webs and the more I buy, the bigger of a discount I get. But I've been wanting to knit my niece and my cousin's kiddo, who I've been doing childcare for, some Halloween sweaters. So Mira is 4 months and my niece Natalie is just over a year. Well, not just over, but she's over a year now. And so what I was thinking of doing was this little like jack-o'-lantern sweater that I saw that had like a little jack-o'-lantern face on it. So I got these two colors of Malabrigo. This is Cocoa and it's Malabrigo Rios, the worsted weight. I love this yarn for baby or kid projects. It's superwash, it's very, very soft, and the colors are really nice. So this is Cocoa, this is Dulce de Leche. On the screen when I was ordering it, this looked a lot brighter of an orange. And when I got it, I was a little bit like, oh no, I don't know if I should use it for that jack-o'-lantern sweater. So I kind of did, I like looked through Ravelry and I found a really cute striped kid sweater, and I believe it was free. The pattern was free, and so I decided that I would make that so that it like is a Halloween sweater, but they could wear it like just for fall. So I'm knitting my niece the 12 to 18th month size, knitting it first so that I can ship it to her as soon as possible. But I think it's turning out pretty cute. And then I will make Mira the probably like 6 to 12 month size, just so that she can wear it for a little bit, both of them can wear it for like a little bit longer. But yeah, so it'll be more like a fall sweater, and then I think what I'm going to do is pair it with some really cute like Halloween leggings that will match it, so to make it a little outfit. Yeah, so that is like another fun project that I'm working on for them, and hopefully I'll finish those pretty quick because they're worsted weight. So that's really what I'm working on. I am planning to cast on a sweater. There's 2 or 3 that I'm debating casting on, but it's edging into the season of gift knitting generally. So I don't know if I'm gonna wait to cast on a sweater for me or if I'm just gonna do it, knit through the holidays. I haven't quite decided. But I want to do a like textured cardigan of some sort. Do a lot of color work, and I've been doing a lot of like pretty simple stockinette stuff, and I just want to do something for myself that's like a little bit more fun and engaging in a way that I don't do with knitting. And also I could totally change my mind. I'm allowed to. But there's a new issue of Pom Pom, and there's a gorgeous sweater in that. Let me show it to you. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful sweaters in this issue, but the one I'm thinking of is this cardigan. So I'm thinking about that one, but I'm also thinking about, I'll post a couple pictures here. So yeah, if you have any fingering sport weight cabled or textured cardigans, or even pullover patterns that you really love, I would love the recommendations. Send them to me, because I'm just feeling a little like, I don't know, uninspired, I guess, by like looking through Ravelry lately. So yeah, I would love to hear suggestions if you have them for that. And yeah, so I think the other video that I'm working on is a like fall wardrobe staples video. Just like, I don't want it to be like these are the patterns to knit, but more as like styles of sweaters. And I really hope that you'll help me in the comments with some suggestions in that one. So look forward to that. If you don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I've been doing handmade outfit of the days, and I've been really enjoying doing them, and I know other people are. So if you're looking for more like knitting wardrobe content, definitely give me a follow over there. If you are not subscribed already to this channel, it helps us out so much for you to do so. So please do that. And yeah, I think that's it. I know there's a lot kind of going on, and maybe not as much knitting as usual, but I'm really grateful that you're here. I'll leave a link to my Ko-Fi account at the end credits. Please like this video if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Of course. You hear her? The second I sit down to record. Oh, both of them. Maple's under me, Moose is over there yelling at me. Moose just wants to feel part of whatever is happening. Really? Come here. Yeah, seems right. Okay, alright. That's my pumpkin green cold brew. Okay, well, hi. My name is Mackenzie, this is Moose, and this is the Emtothethird Knitting Podcast.